video, I will be explaining the 2024 presidential election with the Democrats and the Republicans, a updated prediction. And yeah, so this video will be serious, not the April Fool's joke video. But yeah, let's get started. But before we get started, we do want to see that Joe Biden's approval rating is right now negative 11.6, which is a new low. And I think the last time it has been this low was essentially never. So yeah, let's get started. Let's start with the safe Democratic states. We have California, Hawaii, New York, Massachusetts, the District of Columbia, Maryland, and I think that's pretty much it. Let me see, there's also the state of Vermont. I missed that, but 114 electoral votes with Maine's 1st district. That is the amount of electoral votes the Democrats will start off with. The Republicans also have their fair amount of safe states here. In fact, it will be pretty much quite a long time since they will actually, in the safe state column, they will actually lead the Democrats with 125 electoral votes. Again, this video will not be about specific candidates. My margins are in the description down below. So I'm basically going to be ranging for a lot of Democrats and a lot of Republicans. So maybe I'm going to factor in Trump, and then DeSantis, maybe Pence. For the Democrats, I will be factoring Biden, Harris, and potentially some other Democratic nominees. So yeah. Now for likely Democratic states, I do have the state of Illinois, Oregon, Washington, Delaware, New Jersey, Connecticut, and Rhode Island. All these states did go to Joe Biden by a safe margin or 15% or above, but I don't think that will be the case in 2024. Additionally, Colorado was a likely state for Biden. It should hold as a likely state. I also give the state of Virginia for the Democrats, Joe Biden, or whoever the Democrats run will end up carrying Virginia by probably over 5%. I think New Mexico, it could be lean, it could be like I'll put lean about 5% from the state. It's just the oil voters. I just don't see them coming home for Joe Biden here. He only won the state by 10 points. The state barely shifted towards the Democrats, so I do think it will be a lean state, not a likely state, so just under 5%. They're probably around 5%. For the Republicans, I do have Iowa and Ohio. Both of these states, Trump did win by 9 percentage points. 8 or 9 percentage points, somewhere around the ballpark of that. I believe for Iowa, it was 8.2. For Ohio, it was 8.1. So both these states should hold as likely no matter who the Republicans run. I also think Texas and Florida. Texas went to Trump by 6 points in 2020. I think it should be about 8 points, 9 points for the GOP in 2024, depending on who you run. DeSantis is probably going to bring the margins up a little bit. Trump a little bit down probably. So regardless, I think Texas should be in the upper single digits. It could go up to double digits. I just don't see it. So I think Maine second as well, going to be a likely district for the Republicans. Because, Trump won the district by 8 points. So it's really difficult to see it going under 5%. North Carolina, a state that Trump was able to win in 2020, the closest state Trump won, I think it should be over 5%. Given the national environment right now, the generic ballot between the Democrats and the Republicans in 2024 looks like to be around a tie. Democrats have a bit of a lead, I believe, but it's looking like a tie. So that definitely contributes to North Carolina there. Now we have a few remaining states. These states are probably going to be the closest states. I do give, so Maine's at large should go to the Democrats here. That is a projection I'm pretty confident in. And Wisconsin, well, both of these projections I'm pretty confident in them. For Maine at large, Biden did carry the state by 8 points. Hillary Clinton carried the state, so that makes me pretty confident that the Democrats should be able to win. It could go down as low as tilt. It could retain over 5%. It could go down as low as tilt again, but the Democrats should have the upper edge there. I'm assuming about 3-4%. It could be likely. I don't think it's going to be tilt, but somewhere in the ballpark of that, Democrats probably hold that state. The state of Wisconsin here, the rural voters, they're going to really prefer Trump or the Republican Party in this election. And I think if it's for DeSantis, he might not improve that well in the rural areas, but at least he gets very good numbers, I think, in the wild counties. That was something Trump was not able to do in 2020 election. So we have, I believe, 7 states left and a congressional district. I am going to go ahead and give the Republicans the state of Georgia. Now, for Donald Trump, if he runs again and wins the nomination, of course he would if he runs again. I think right now, Trump may have the margin closer, maybe, but I think Ron DeSantis definitely would widen up the margins. I think the black vote should improve for the Republicans, maybe 1-2%, and the rural vote and some of these suburban areas maybe shift back to the Republicans by 0.5%. That being said, Georgia only went to the Democrats by 0.23%. So if I recall that correctly, let's see. So yep, it's 0.23%. So really any swing should be noticed in the state of Georgia. Now we go to the state of Pennsylvania here. That is going to go to the Republicans, putting them over 270 electoral votes. The reason being that Biden was seen as a Scranton boy. He is not going to be seen that way after he is a president, and really, it just doesn't look like he's going to do too well against suburban reversion. There's a lot of suburbs in the Pennsylvania area. We have some suburbs in Pittsburgh, but most importantly, we have Chester, we have Montgomery, we have Delaware, we have Bucks, we have Allentown, so a lot of suburbs in the state. Very large amount of the population is in the suburbs, the exurbs. That's gonna shift back towards the Republicans a little bit, and given the rural areas, Republicans are quite maxed out in rural areas, but they could still improve by 1%. All that being said, the Republicans will win in the state of Pennsylvania. Now we have probably the closest 5 states. I'm gonna first assume, not the closest 5 states actually, not Pennsylvania, but Arizona's probably not in the closest 5 states. Arizona here, it is a very moderate state. So Ron DeSantis, if Ron DeSantis runs, it's gonna be easier for him in the state of Arizona. It may be tougher with Donald Trump. Trump may do a little bit better in the Rust Belt. DeSantis is going to do better in Arizona, such as Arizona and Georgia, definitely. I think if DeSantis is the nominee, it's pretty much a done deal for the Republicans. If Trump is the nominee, yeah, a little bit tougher for him, but given that he only lost the state by 0.3%, the national environment, even with the more Democrats registrating in the state of Arizona and the population growth and all that, I think it's just not sufficient for Democrats to carry that state. That being said, right now we still have a couple of states left. Some of these states will end up depending on the nominee. I think Nevada, though, will go to Republicans. Now, Nevada was closer than Michigan. I think some people expected that. Most people probably expected that, but this was a state that Clinton was able to carry in 2016. Michigan was not, so these states tend to vote pretty similarly together here. Sometimes Nevada is towards the left of Michigan, sometimes it's towards the right of Michigan here. So Nevada, I do think that the state of Nevada, it looks like that, I think Trump did better in Clark County than he did in 2016. I think by about 1%. It's not exactly a huge margin in the state of Nevada. He did better by, but it's still a noticeable margin. It's like 0.0 something, but in Clark County he did much better. 1% something is still much better, considering the national environment was 2 points more friendly for the Democratic Party. We have 3 more states left and 1 congressional district. I'm going to deal with Nebraska second. I'll put as tilt Republican. Although I think Biden would have won the district by 3 or 4 points. I still think that the Democrats, I still think the Republicans, given the national environment, giving some of the suburbs possibly shifting towards the Republicans, yeah, I do give that towards the Republicans a little bit. I also give the state of Michigan, depending on the candidates, again, I'll put as tilt as of right now to be safer. Tilt is under 2%, I think probably 1.5% is a good estimate here. And yeah, so 1.5%, somewhere in the ballpark of that, gonna be a good estimate. Well, for the state of Minnesota here, I just think the Minnesota suburbs are too far gone. The Minnesota, exurbs, the Minneapolis area too far gone for the Republicans. Not gonna win that state. It's gonna be close, but it's just not gonna flip. The state of New Hampshire, though, a very moderate state, a somewhat anti-incumbent state, I would say I give that towards the Republicans very, very narrowly. It depends again how well Biden does in his final term, in his last 2.5 years, 3 years leading up to the election. Again, Biden's getting more and more disapproved of, but it depends. All right, if there's sometimes things can be unexpected. For example, what if another one of those Comey letters end up breaking the election? We just have to see. Again, a lot of these states, they could change, especially the tilt states. The lean states possibly, but tilt states definitely. I do give New Hampshire though to the Republicans just because of the national environment. Anyways, thanks for watching today's video. Do follow me on Twitter. Do subscribe to my YouTube channel. And yeah, so thanks for watching. Have a nice day and bye.